Happy Friday, everybody. We are here, Grace Anthony with the BT Group and my partner, Pam Butera. This Friday, we have special guest Dan Gough with Safe Flight Insurance here to help us learn how to save money on home and auto insurance. Pam, off to you.
Thanks, Grace. And hi, everybody. Okay, so we thought it would be a great idea to bring Dan on as our special guest speaker today because I have a feeling a lot of you probably don't think about the cost of your homeowner's insurance and your auto insurance. And if you've been in your home for several years, there is a way, most likely, Dan's going to explain to us, on how you could save money on both your homeowner's and your auto insurance. So Dan, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, could you tell us about like a scenario where someone's been in their home for some time? What does this look like for them?
Yeah, of course. So thanks for having me. You know, most clients that have been in their home for years means they've probably been with the same insurance broker for a couple of years or the same insurance agent for a few years. And it's always a good chance to have somebody else review your insurance policy. As I like to say to people, like, we are in sales, we do want to save people money, but we are insurance professionals first. So we do like to look at policies and review coverage, see if there's any gaps in coverage, or has things changed since 10 years ago when you bought your house and set up your insurance policy to add some extra liability coverage to protect your assets, or maybe you did some things at the house that need to be noted on there to offer you some more coverage on it. Those are some big things we like to look at. And then when it comes time to save the money, you know, 95% of the population is with, you know, the big name insurance companies like an Allstate or State Farm that writes their individual product. So they're only getting one price option, where we work with 17 different insurance companies as a broker. So we can provide them with 17 different price options. And a lot of those can save some significant money. You know, then of course you want to bundle that with your auto insurance. Some of our insurance providers offer 30% bundle discounts. So if you have a $1,000 home insurance policy, I mean, 30% could be up to $300 in savings on that, which is pretty significant just for bundling. And, you know, not everybody saves on everything, but, you know, I've saved somebody over $6,000 on 3 cars and a house. I saved multiple people over $4,000 a year on their bundling insurance options. But the average person that we quote is looking between like a $600 and a $1,200 savings for their bundle, which in times like this, that could be $50 to $100 a month back in your pocket when, you know, there's some uncertainty and you can just hang on to that money.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's great. I mean, that's groceries for at least a week or more. Okay. And is it just, and by the way, thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize you were, had access to 17 brokers. That's pretty big. Yeah. So, and is the process simple? Do they just call you? What does that look like? Do they have to, does credit score matter? Does the homeowner's credit score matter?
There's not a hard credit inquiry on anything. So it's not like the running credit reports, but there's what's called an insurance score, which is made up of like 10 different things. And credit plays a small piece in it, along with past claims, zip codes that you live in, married or single, different types of cars that you have, stuff like that all gets lumped into the things that hold together the pricing for you. But as far as getting a quote goes, it's, you know, it's a 5-minute phone call. Obviously we need to get some personal information together, kinds of cars, address, you know, people in the house, some information about the house. And then we get to plug it into a system and it gives us 17 different price options for that person. And then we pull together, you know, 2 or 3 of the best ones and we present it to them. It's usually maybe anywhere from like an hour to 4-hour turnaround time for us to send out quotes to somebody to take a look at. And most of the time, like I said, it's somewhere around $1,000 in savings that they get to see for a 5 to 10 minute phone call with us.
Wow. Okay.
And I think too, with the access you have to so many brokerages, I know I've seen with my clients who will be like, oh, you know, I'm already with XYZ company and have a great price. And I'll say, you know, speak to Dan. And all of a sudden, like, how did I save $700 with one phone call? It's really important to see what's out there.
Yeah, and we tell people you should probably shop your insurance every 2 to 3 years, because maybe you did get a price from one of our companies this year, and in 2 years that that company may not have been in this specific zip code, or maybe even in the state of Pennsylvania. They weren't trying to write business heavily, and then 2 years later they're trying to fill their book of business with more clients from this area. So their prices could take like a 30% drop from when you got quoted 2 years ago. And that can be a big number on your insurance policy.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. So Dan, if my insurance that I got for my house, say 9 years ago, and if that cost has risen, do I get notified? Would I know that my cost is not the same as it was 9 years ago?
It depends, right? So most people's home insurance that are financed through a mortgage, it's built into your escrow account. So
right.
You're just paying your monthly mortgage payment, and that goes up a little bit every year between some taxes and insurance costs. So that you probably wouldn't notice. And then auto insurance is, most of the time, unless you're paying it off for the year, most people have it set up on an automatic withdrawal right out of their checking account each month. So that just comes out. And nowadays, like, so much stuff's just done electronically out of your bank account that if it goes up something, like it could go from $200 to $280 a month. That's a huge increase. And you're just thinking it's somewhere in that $200 range.
Right.
You're probably not breaking it down and looking at it and saying, wow, I'm paying an extra $1,000 a year in auto insurance than I was 2 years ago.
So then help me to understand how easy this process is, in the sense that, these mortgage companies are huge. And I'm the type of person that it's a big bother for me to send them the new policy for my homeowner's insurance, cancel the old one. Do you do all that? Is this like seamless for the homeowner?
Yeah, so we try to do like the full service for the person. Like I said, we start with a 5-minute, maybe a 10-minute phone call to gather that information. And then all the paperwork's done electronically, super easy after you get the quotes if somebody agrees to it. And then we generally try to process the cancellations to their old agents for the client, so they don't have to go out of their way and do any extra work. We try to contact the mortgage companies to make sure they have the update auto insurance policy, updated home insurance policy. Same thing with any lease or banks who have loans on your car. We try to make sure we communicate with them quickly to give them the updated policies. So it's not much work to do. It's just a matter of taking the first step and contacting somebody like myself to get the quote.
And I should clarify too, to contact you and get a quote, it doesn't cost the consumer anything, correct?
Nope, no cost. Just that 5 minutes of your time. That's it. There's no cost for running it. We put the quotes together. I always tell them, like, hey, worst case scenario, at least you're currently getting a good price if we can't save you any money.
Right. And also just want to make sure to clarify that people heard you say it's a soft pull on their credit. So it really doesn't show up, right?
It doesn't pull like any credit, like any hard credit or any credit scores or anything like that.
Right. So there's there's no downside to this, except they're 10 minutes of time, right?
Yep, that's it. There's no other downside in doing it. That's why I tell people, like, nowadays it's so easy and quick that you can do it every 2 to 3 years with no problem. And for our clients, once they're in our system, because we have so many companies and we're trying to add new companies every year so that we have more and more options, once they're in there, if their prices do go up after a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, we can just click a button and get brand new prices for them. They don't even have to go over any of the information. It's in there. It just runs a new price, and it'll just say if one of the other companies is more competitive than the current one we have them with.
And Dan, just since we're talking about the time that you said, all it really takes is time right now, and I know, to make light of the situation we're all in, we have quite a bit of time on our hands, right? About how long, like, would you say? Probably no more than.
For time for the consumer, I mean, all said and done, it's probably less than 30 minutes of their time, right?
It could save them hundreds of dollars for 30 minutes.
Yep. And that's from the start of getting us the information, reviewing the quotes. We like to go over it with them just so they have an idea of what's actually covered. Most people don't even know what their auto insurance or their home insurance policies are covering. So we like to just give them a little bit of information if they want it. And then they just got to sign the paperwork, and that's it.
Okay. And then are there other ways that we're not thinking of right now that you could save homeowners or people that have cars? Maybe they don't have a home. Is there something that maybe we're missing that we're not touching on?
So, I mean, the big things are to look at the discounts, right? A lot of people add their, somebody has a 16 or 17-year-old kid who gets their license. You want to make sure if they're a B average or better, you're getting the student discounts. Like some people that could be $300 or $400 a year they're saving and their kid's already getting those good grades, so you should get the credit for it. Driver training, there's discounts for that. On your home insurance, alarm systems. If you put a brand new roof on 2 years ago and the previous one was 20 years old, if you update that on your insurance policy, that could save you several dollars on your home insurance policy. So maybe nothing super significant on that, but you already paid for the roof to be done. You might as well take advantage of any extra savings that you can. Nowadays, like some of the rules are just out the window because we're in this crazy crisis. But I had somebody who lost their job and they called their leasing company, who requires them to carry full coverage on their car because they own the car that they're leasing. And they said, hey, we'll waive your responsibility of carrying full coverage on your car for 6 months if you're just going to park it there because you lost your job. So they put the car in their garage. They took the full coverage off of their car, their deductibles, and just left the comprehensive and the liability, parked it in the car, and they saved about $600 a year, which will be about $300 over those 6 months, just money back into their pockets for a car they're not even driving. So most of the time, the leasing companies won't do that kind of stuff, but they're willing to work with people now. So anyone who is going through a tough time, it's always good to contact your insurance company and your leasing company or mortgage company and kind of figure out where you can work some things to help yourself out.
Interesting. And I think I read recently too that some of the big companies are just automatically giving their clients a discount.
Yeah.
Right? Like 15%.
Some of the big insurance companies are doing like 15% discount on your auto insurance. Some of them are giving flat $30 per car credit towards your insurance policy for the next 2 months. Some are up to 20%. Like I know Progressive, one of our companies, they just said they just took $1 billion and they're giving it back to all of their clients. So it ends up being about 15% per client or something like that over the next 60 days, just gets credited to their auto insurance policy. Driving's down. I mean, in the country, it's below 50% of what it was before everyone had these stay-at-home orders. So there's not many claims. So the insurance companies are saying, instead of us just pocketing this extra $1 billion, let's give it to our clients who are going through some tough times right now. So it's just their little part in sharing back.
Wow, I love that.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, do we have any questions from anyone that's watching now?
Let me log on and see. Let me scroll down on Facebook. Now that we just said, if anyone has any questions, now would be the time to ask Dan. It's going to be a little bit delayed for us to get a response from them. John Campo says you're awesome, Dan.
Yeah. John's the best safeguard agent there is.
Bill O'Connell said he loves it. But I don't see any questions yet. Let's just give them about like 15 seconds to see if anyone has any questions to ask. Because like I said, with the delay from Zoom to Facebook, sometimes as soon as we get off, then they'll type something. So.
And then Dan, we have given you a shout out with all your contact info on the Facebook post.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, so hopefully people reach out to you directly because, like Grace Ann said, we've the one thing we have all got right now is time. We all have a lot of time on our hands.
Yeah, I mean it's something to do too, right? If somebody's got some extra time right now, let's
exactly.
Just a good conversation.
Yep, and I appreciate you taking the time because I know in your world you're still busy. One question I did have that I meant to ask: when somebody's refinancing their home, it's a good time for them to look at their insurance policy too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with a lot of mortgage professionals, and when they do refinances, they encourage the client to get an insurance quote because you're refinancing to save money. So if you're trying to lower your monthly cost, I mean, I've seen home insurance policies save $100 a month. You can go from a $2,400 home insurance policy to a $1,200 policy. That's another $100 out of your mortgage payment a month that you don't have to spend. So it's a really good time to link it all together.
And there's a lot of people refinancing right now with these super low mortgage interest rates. And I know
you
there's
have to update your policy anyway with the new mortgage information. So it's definitely a good time just to get it all done in one shot.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
sure there's a lot of listeners refinancing right now. Great. Okay.
Right. So I don't see any questions. We'll let them know if they do have any questions and they didn't get a chance to put them here, or they're not watching live, to comment them below and we'll get the answers from you, Dan, if that works.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Dan.
Enjoy the weekend.
And we will see
later.
everyone
Bye.
next week on Friday, same time. Have a great day, everyone. Happy Friday. Stay safe.